So Jim, the question for you, you mentioned earlier about that statistic, which I think is stunning, 100, less than 100 African Americans in calculus. What's your opinion? Why is that the case? Why aren't more kids of color in general?
Yes, yeah, it's not just African Americans. Well, it's a good question. I think that I'll give you my thought and an example of one of our students. There is not enough classes in calculus, right? In the state of California, there are, I think, 16 algebra classes that are offered in the state of California and 4 calculus classes. So the variety of classes that are offered makes that pipeline very, very thin to get into those classes. So you can't pay your way into those classes. You have to earn your way into those classes.
It's like an access issue then?
It is definitely an access issue. I think it really is. I think that we had a student who went to Oakland Tech, and this student was in a public high school, but he had gone to private school for elementary and middle school, was a very straight A student. When he got to Oakland Tech to get into the magnet programs for engineering, there were only a certain number of slots available because they had one FTE teacher to be able to do that work, right? So he took the examination test and he got 93.5, and it took 94 literally to get into the class, right? They did not, we pushed to the school, we had the parents write a letter, no space. Not that they didn't want it, they didn't have space for that student. So, well, that happens, but what happened to him? He didn't go into a pre-engineering magnet program. He went back to everyone else who had scored 65 or 75 into that class. So there was no ladder for him to be in that program. So he lost almost a year if he had not been in our program, of course. But so that's part of the issue. You know, it's sort of like I always say that, you know, the higher level of math, especially calculus, in the way we teach it, is very much like finger painting, right? You wouldn't start finger painting class by saying, well, we're going to start looking at the chemical reaction of paints, and we're going to look at the eye coordination. You start with doing the work. So a lot of what we do is bore the students out of their minds with formulas and protocols without doing the actual work. So the quicker we can have them muck around in math and science, the better off they are. So we try to bring as many concepts, calculus and algebraic concepts, as low as possible without telling them what they're working on until they accomplish it.